All right, good evening. Welcome. This is a jam. Okay. See, last week. All happened last week. Somebody somebody ended up with Featherine. I was sort of thinking it was Battler, but then I was thinking it was Ange, maybe? Or I was sort of going back and forth between the two. They're gonna unveil the book for the one truth. But in the fantasy world, Battler and Andrew are gonna try and stop it. I think that's the main point. I can't really think of anything else big. Alright, I was curious who gave Ange the, was it a bell? Or whatever? The extra bell? The pass to come here? Mentioned it could be Erica, that would be interesting, but I don't know, I sort of doubt it's her. Funny Erica. Currently getting tricked by all the relatives and whatnot. Okay.
この一冊一冊に私たちのような物語が記されてるんですって。
ここは神様の世界だな。
あんたたち風情が立ち入っていい場所じゃないってことが一目でわかるでしょ。
After passing through the barrier, the three of them had finally made it inside the City of Books. Sometime they were overcome by the countless otherworldly sights before them, but they quickly remembered their original objective.
いい？まず勘違いしないでほしいの。あんたたちはベルンと戦いに来たわ。でもそれはベルンと直接戦って倒すとか、そういう意味じゃないんだからね。
I was like, darn it, that was my entire plan.
分かってる。
そもそも大ベアドリーチェと互角にあんたが戦えたのはゲーム版の上で互角なルールに守られて戦っていたからよ。ゲーム版を出ればあんたなんかバチンって叩かれて手のひらのシミになる程度の存在なんだからね。それを忘れるんじゃないわよ。
そうよね。ここはもう私たちの知るゲーム版じゃない。
So what exactly do you think you can do here?
俺たちは戦いに来たんじゃない。取り戻しに来ただけだ。
そういうこと。一なる真実の書の公開を妨げること。それだけが目的であんたたちの戦いなんだからね。そこを勘違いしちゃダメよ。
Time for stealth. Battler and Ange nodded to show their understanding.
一なる真実の書はパーティーのど真ん中に堂々と飾られてるから奪い返すのは不可能よ。
Okay. How are you gonna get it?
でも式次第によると鍵が入場してくることになってる。
ということは鍵は別の場所に保管されているわけか。
Ah, maybe they'll steal the key.
そこが無防備という保証はないけどね。
Probably a lot better than the book.
あとはあんたたちの運次第よ。せいぜい幸運を祈るのね。隠れて。
Lambdadelta pulled her head back from around the corner of a bookshelf. The others hurriedly followed suit. In the distance, they saw emerald green lights floating about and leaving trails. It's a kitty cat.
あれはベルンの使い魔の猫よ。今日はあちこちを巡回して見張っているわ。
私たちが来ることも読まれてる。
違うわ。ここは広大だからね。迷子になるアンポンタンな来客を迷子センターにお連れするためのスタッフ猫よ。
The sassy lost child.
俺たちが行きたいのは迷子センターじゃねえからな。
見つかりそうになったらやる？
よした方がいいわ。よその領地やゲーム版ならともかく、ここはベルンのホームグラウンドよ。あの猫一匹で猛獣の群れに囲まれたくらいの危機感は持つことね。しかも猫よ。勘も鋭いし仲間も呼ぶわ。気取られたらその時は覚悟しなさい。私も助けないからね。あんたたちをここへ連れ込んだだけでかなり厄介。私が降参すれば裸にひんむかれて最悪のゲロカスかけら巡り100年くらいで許してもらえるかも。素敵だわ。私にもベルンの気持ちがちょっとは理解できるようになるかもね。
Lambdadelta wasn't laughing. Most likely, even this punishment she spoke of was pretty optimistic. Even though she keeps saying that she won't help anymore, she's already risking everything. Why?
決まってんでしょ。
Lambdadelta brushed her hair back and grinned.
あんたたちが最高のハッピーエンドを見せてくれるからでしょうが。
Lambdadelta hugged their heads at the same time, making their foreheads bonk together.
見せなさいよ。絶対。
お、見せてやるぜ。
絶対に取り返す。
行くわよ。
Oh? Voiced.
こっちよ。静かに泳いで。
The three of them swam out into the darkness of the deep ocean trench that was the City of Books. In that massive, vast trench of bookshelves, they vanished into the darkness almost immediately. The library defied the common sense of the human world. The City of Books. The word city was no exaggeration, and it was filled with the green, glowing eyes of Bern Costel's countless cat familiars. Trying to count them would be almost as crazy as counting all the fish in the ocean. They formed schools that swam all over the place, on the lookout for any fools who might miraculously have managed to slip in and disturb their master's party. Oh yeah, I just remembered, what's her face, Toya is the person that was picked up, and then Hachijo, that's right, Hachijo Toya, and then Hachijo, actually, did I check out their stuff before? I don't know if they're listed here. Oh wait, well, there was a Hachijo. Or no, that's Featherine. Yeah, Hachijo Toya is like the guest, and then forget the other Hachijo's name. Who I guess is actually the person who looks like Featherine. Forgot about that. Anyway, if Battler's group was found, the cats would report it instantly. They would probably form a pack, opening their large mouths and swallowing them in a single gulp. There would be no fight. In this place, Battler's party would be swallowed like tiny fishes if they were discovered. The warships surrounding the Golden Land were well more than 100 strong. Each of them had dozens of cannons pointing at the door to the Golden Land. The goats that packed the decks of the ships numbered in the tens of thousands. Each one of them carried enough anti-magic toxin in their fangs to completely deny one of the game board pieces. This time, they would chew apart and eat away everything. A crowd of goats unleashed their rotten breath and dangling drool. At that time, Erica, who wanted to avoid trouble and hoped Beato would be able to convince Lambdadelta to surrender peacefully, was sitting alone, calmly enjoying the tea Ronove had poured for her. Of course, even Erica wasn't planning to give them unlimited time. In her mind, she had already decided to allow them 3 yawns before stepping in. Oh, that was a little way too dank.
Lambda のベアト側について徹底抗戦。仲間を集めて。まさか冗談でしょ?
A little bit. The messenger cat shook its head, then continued to dispassionately meow its report.
ラムダだってそこまでバカじゃない。アウアウを敵に回すような真似をすればどういうことになるかわからない子じゃないはずよ。
Even as she said this, Bernkastel was chewing away at her thumbnail.
あの子、ああ見えて妙な友人が多いのよ。それもとびきりの化け物で物好きな連中がね。それでも元老院に立てつく側につくなんて。
It was possible. She could think of many monsters among Lambdadelta's friends who would love to see a losing side gain support and make a comeback victory. Before she realized it, the finger Bernkastel was biting was covered with sweat.
やりかねない。あの子、たまに本当にバカだから。電話よ、早く!
The cat leapt away, then flew back with a phone and receiver.
あの子の友人たちに電話するわ。バカなゲームに関わらないようにって警告しなくちゃ。電話番号。なんで私って番号登録してないのよ。ええ、そうよね。私、友達ゼロだもんね。
Oof.
電話のお作法って最初はもしもしでよかったんだったかしら?
Just had a thought. What if Bernkastel is one of the Hachigos? Huh. Yeah, what if she's the original Hachigo? And then maybe... yeah, whoever's there with her, Ange or Battler, or possibly somebody else. I think it's one of the two. Maybe in the real world they're trying to get back the book, or at least the key? Wants to tell her not to? We draw a real world parallel? I'd be cooking. The golden key was being kept in a room inside the City of Books. However, perhaps room wasn't a fitting word to use. Hey there, Davia. Good morning. Actually, no. Good morning. Or, yeah, permong. Good permong. We're gonna make this a regular greeting now. Good permong. I approve of this. Yeah, I don't know if you heard, I just made the crackpot theory that perhaps the Bernkastel is one of the Hachigos. Either... I imagine she's not Hachigo Toya, and Hachigo Toya is the guest. Or the additional Hachigo. And then... it was saying about... yeah, how she acts right here seems a little odd. About calling up her friends, don't get them involved in the game. Like, don't have any phone numbers, I don't have any friends. How are you supposed to greet people over the phone? That especially is a little weird. How are you supposed to greet people over the phone? Does hello? Just, it doesn't... I mean, it feels like Bernkastel, but at the same time, it makes me think of... I can't remember her first name. Hachijo, the original Hachijo that picked up Toya. But it makes me think of her. So I'm thinking maybe a real world parallel. Maybe maybe Toya, whoever Toya is, want to get the book and or the key. I mean, here they're going for the key. So maybe she's going for the key, and original Hachigo wants to warn them not to. Ikuko. That's right, Ikuko. Hachigo Ikuko. Yeah, that's my crackpot theory for now. Perhaps room wasn't a fitting word to use. It was large enough that you could probably fit 2 domed baseball stadiums in it if you tried. Even so, in this city, these were called rooms. Floating in the center of this vast room were several sacred magic circles. Wrapped around by these magic circles was Ange's golden key. Surrounding these countless emerald green stars, which looked like a slowly revolving planetarium. Or, surrounding these were countless emerald green stars. The eyes that numbered the same as the stars were all glaring in the same direction.
いやーね、怖い目をして。私は味方でしょ？忘れた？
One of the cats cat-paddled toward Ava, meowing that no one was allowed to enter this room.
ベルンカステル教よりこの鍵の警護を仰せつかったわ。だからここは私に任せて、あんたたちはどっかに行っちゃってちょうだいな。
After looking at each other with suspicious eyes, the cats glared at Ava again, as though saying that they hadn't heard any such order.
ところで、猫って体柔らかいのにね。そこに。じゃあ、噛めるわよね。
What the heck? Ava lifted up her golden staff, and the floor and ceiling of the vast room were covered with red lines. The reaction from the cats was lightning fast. They realized instantly that this was hostile behavior. The entire emerald green constellation writhed and became a single, massive deep-sea fish. Hey, that's the name of one of the songs, or the music pieces, which charged at Ava with its cavernous mouth wide open. However, at the same time, the red lines on the floor and ceiling, the massive spiderweb, pinched itself together and crushed the fish, twisted it, spun it around and around, and compressed it into the size of a small ball. Then that ball-shaped thing burst open, leaving nothing left. It all happened in an instant.
へそでも噛んで死んじゃえば。
Eva. Okay, here we go in normal world. The witch hunters were holding a convention in the event hall. After all, when Ushiromiya Ava's diary was opened, the endless cat box would be lost, along with the countless imagined stories that had entertained them for so long. So this final convention was a time for them to air their best theories one last time. While the opening of the cat box did give them a slightly lonely feeling, they couldn't contain their excitement. Really? Really? Not when they knew that the Rakanjima mystery was finally going to be solved once and for all. If that box were opened, a single girl would be hurt. Such an apt expression. I mean, true. Just feels really weird to say. Makes me uncomfortable. However, their jaws and fangs couldn't care less. Or at least... yeah, I don't know, it's one of the words I don't like to use just willy-nilly, I should say that. It's not that I disagree with saying it at all, but just... I don't like to cheapen the word. I don't know if that makes sense. The witch-hunting goat nobles kept licking their lips, wanting to chew apart the guts of Beatrice's cat box as soon as they could. Seated upon a solemn throne so tall it looked like a pillar, Featherine listened in on the nonsense being spewed from the mouths of the goat nobles. A black cat wearing a cape silently appeared and whispered something into Featherine's ear. A black cat wearing a cape. This just amuses me for some reason. And suddenly, I'm reminded of, I don't know if you'll know this, but from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, a TV show, there's a black cat called Salem. He talked. I don't know. He was like a sentient black cat. Yeah. You did watch that? Okay. It just makes me think of that for some reason. Yeah, that takes me back. The cat bowed humbly and vanished. Featherine raised her wine glass high and laughed as she looked through it to the light of the chandelier, which was as beautiful and majestic as the moon. As Babbler's group moved forward, darting from bookshelf to bookshelf and avoiding the eyes of the cats, they found something strange. Written with a faintly glowing red substance was a letter and an arrow. K. Left arrow. That's what it looked like to them. And traced the red arrow with her finger. It was written with very faint, thin strings that had been tied together. This red stuff, which stuck to your finger and tore away like cotton candy, had to be... In the arbor, the argument over whether they should surrender or fight continued without signs of stopping. Every now and then, a small fight would break out, which fortunately ended up delaying Erica's third yawn. However, they didn't know how long they would have to continue this fake fight. Keeping this high level of tension going was physically stressful. The instant they tired out and the tension faded, Erica would probably demand a verdict. They had to constantly appear to be trapped and agitated. It was a battle of weariness and tension. This was their fight. Erica waited patiently. Now that she had tired of tea, she was watching Ronove perform some magic tricks, and seemed to be enjoying herself considerably. Even Ronove, who was usually aloof from the world, was fighting. If Erica got bored and had a tantrum, an all-out attack would probably begin at once. He was also putting his life on the line in a fight to buy time for Battler's group. As the fiercest leader in the argument, Beato wore out the quickest. She breathed heavily, and her face was so pale it seemed she might faint at any moment.
ベアト、しっかり。そのテンションを続けてたら体力が続かない。急に泣き出したふりをしてしばらく休んで。その間を私たちがつなぐわ。まだ大丈夫であると。やるぞ。もう一度大きく騒ごうではないか。行くぞ。さあ誰から行く。一番槍の欲しいものは。
ではゴーダ参ります。ここは戦うべきです。戦わずして敗北を受け入れることなど言語道断です。私は最初からここは戦い抜くべきだと申し上げております。
Wait, wasn't he wanting to surrender? I mean, like, just fake surrender, but I thought he was arguing for surrender before. I don't know.
ちょっと待ってください。
Erica suddenly rose from her chair. Ronove tried to coax her back into her seat, but Erica's attention was completely focused on those arguing under the arbor.
私は探偵です。
Uh-oh.
聞いたことは録音するかのように記憶できます。
Uh-oh. Goda, please.
それは無論知っているとも。そなたは優秀な探偵でもあるからな。
あんたに興味ありません。ゴーダさん、私の質問に答えてください。
Yeah, that was it. He was arguing for surrender before, and suddenly he changed sides, saying that he always advocated fighting.
はい。私めが何かご無礼をいたしましたでしょうか。
ちょっとお待ちください。戦いを望まぬ者がいることもお忘れなく、私は降参が良いかと思います。私がここに訪れて一番最初に聞いたあなたの発言です。
Yep.
ですが今あなたはこうおっしゃいました。ここは戦うべきです。戦わずして敗北を受け入れることなど言語道断です。私は最初からここは戦い抜くべきだと申し上げております。そう言いました。
いや、そんなことも申し上げたでしょうか。
議論の中で意見が変わることも時にあるかと思います。
そうですとも。他の皆さんも先ほどからどちらがいいか迷っておりまして、時に意見を変えられることも。
Goda just keeps digging himself into a hole. Oh boy.
いいえ、あなたたちの議論は一貫して誰も意見を変えていません。たった今、唐突にゴーダさんだけがその主張を逆転させました。しかもゴーダさんに対する他の人間からの発言を振り返っても、
彼が主張を逆転させるに足るものがあったとは思えません。
An uncomfortable, moist wind blew by. Everyone was silent, frozen as though time had stopped. In that silence, Erica continued with a blank expression.
以上から導き出される推理は2つです。1つは合田さんにもともと意見はなく、その場の雰囲気で適当なことを言ういい加減な人間であること。もう1つは合田さんに限らず、そもそも誰も意見などなく、議論そのものがあなたたちの目的であるというものです。
How about Fozen? Darn it, Goda.
それは考えすぎではないか。わらわたちは必死に今後の運命を議論している。時に普段は考えられぬ心変わりがあってもおかしくはない。
意味もなく議論を延長することに意味があるとすれば、時間を稼ぐこと。あなたたちは時間を稼ぐと何が有利になるのです？ラムダデルタ教の援軍がやってくるからですか？それも違います。なぜならあなたたちは先ほどから時折ラムダデルタ教やバトラに話しかけているのですが、それに対する返事が一度たりとも私の耳に聞こえません。以上すべてから考えて導き出される推理は一つです。
That Lady Lambdadelta and Battler are not here now, and that these people have won Lady Lambdadelta's assistance, with Lady Lambdadelta and Battler probably planning to sneak into the City of Books. In which case, their goal is probably to steal back the Golden Key and Anne. And your plan was to act as bait and buy time until their mission was complete.
ただ合田さんがセリフを言い間違えるだけで、フルドエリカにはこの程度の推理が可能です。
What do you think, everyone?
いかがです皆様方。
There it is. With a blank yet ruthless expression, Erica spoke these words and returned to her seat. Everyone else was frozen, unable to move. No one spoke. However, time was moving. As evidence, a bead of sweat dripped down someone's cheek, fell, and hit the table with a tiny yet audible splat. Then, frozen time shattered, and in the same instant, the white chair Erica had been sitting in broke apart. The stakes of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory and the high-velocity rounds from the Chester Sister Corps hit the chair at exactly the same time. And a few moments after that, the Erica sitting in the chair faded and vanished.
早い、殺せ。
In an instant, Erica had moved to a spot behind the chair. Her expression remained as blank as it had been before. However, there was now something in her hand that hadn't been there. As the 7 lightning strikes of the Seven Sisters raced at her once more, she batted all of them away with her scythe.
とんだ茶番でした。でも紅茶は美味しかったですよ。ごちそうさまです。では皆さんの意見は最初から統一されているようですし、改めまして
事をお伺いしましょう。
Erica lifted her left hand, the one that wasn't holding the scythe. Excuse me? Take a moment to process that. Okay.
よかろうぞ。わらわが答えよう。ここはわらわの我らの黄金鏡。土足で踏み入るならば相応の歓迎をしようぞ。つまりだ、上品に一言で言うとな、
全訪問攻撃準備、目標黄金鏡、
味噌汁で顔洗って出直してきやがれ。
What? I've never heard that before, but okay. This amuses me.
打ちやれ。
Why is she firing while she's still there?
ありがとう。それじゃまたにゃー。
Yeah. Bernkastel set down the receiver and crossed out yet another name on the list of Lambdadelta's notable friends. Something was wrong. Not a single person she called had heard anything from Lambdadelta. They weren't just playing dumb. They really knew nothing about the strange ruckus Lambdadelta was trying to stir up. Even Bernkastel was starting to suspect that something was fishy. Then a black cat leapt in and meowed a frantic report.
黄金鏡にラムダとバトラがいない。
She tore the phone receiver from its stand. The number she dialed was short. It was probably an internal line. However, after listening to it ring several times, she slammed the receiver down again, finally managing to break the phone.
手の空いている猫をすべて集めなさい。大至急。鍵の警護にやった猫たちが誰も応答しない。ラムダーグ。
Bernkastel, overwhelmed with emotion, kicked the table over. Then the room finally grew bright. It was like green sunlight. A bright green light waved about, giving the illusion that a green sun was rising and lighting the room up. It was a sign that Bernkastel's army had been given an emergency summons.
さあおいで。子猫魔女狩りの時間よ。あの子はキャンディーの匂いがするからね。すぐに見つけられるわ。最初に見つけた猫には人の姿と魔女の称号をあげるわ。
Man, she really looks crazy here. What was now an emerald green nebula let out a roar of delight that shook the bookshelf cliff.
何かが追ってくるわ。
なんだあれは。緑の太陽。
隠れて。バレたのよ。
The three of them frantically hid behind a bookshelf. The room with the key in it was straight ahead. They could see something glinting faintly in the darkness of that room. It was a glint different from anything else they had seen so far in this city. The color of the glint was gold. They had almost reached the golden key. However, if they went toward it, Bernkastel would be right behind them, along with her vast swarm of familiars. In other words, they were trapped in a dead end. They already knew that the emerald green color came from the eyes of the familiars. However, it was almost beyond comprehension that this undulating green sun could be the same thing. They could do nothing except stare in wide-eyed shock. The countless cats were passing through the ravine of bookshelves from the very top to the very bottom. As they approached, they painstakingly checked the gaps between each book. However, even this mind-numbingly large task was accomplished swiftly, thanks to the sheer number of familiars. With the speed of a gust of wind, they carefully checked every nook and cranny. There was no way to hide from this green sun. That would have been as foolish as trying to hide from water on a sinking ship. I'm gonna say no.
無理だ。あれじゃどこに隠れても見つかれ。
Adler was just about to leap out from the shadows, but Lambdadelta grabbed him by the collar an instant before.
違う。ここに留まっても見つかるだけだ。なら前へ進むしかない。一刻も早く鍵にたどり着くんだ。
鍵を守る猫がいないわけないでしょ。私たちは挟み撃ちにされたのよ。
私はエヴァおばさんを信じる。おばさんが私たちをここまで導いてくれた。きっとおばさんは見張りの猫たちもやっつけてくれているはずよ。
俺も同感だ。ここにいて見つかるくらいなら一刻も早くあそこにたどり着いて鍵を取り返そう。鍵さえ取り返せればもう誰もあの本を開くことはできない。
あそこにたどり着いて鍵を手に入れて、それであそこ袋小路よ。逃げ場ないのよ。分かってる？
Still better than staying here.
それは分かってるけど。
鍵は切り札だ。ベルンカステルにだ。鍵は重要なんだ。一か八か。鍵をカードで何かの交渉ができるかもしれない。
あのベルに交渉？あんた正気じゃないわ。
だがここに隠れてても絶対に見つかる。なら100億の中の一つの確率だとしても俺は鍵を手に入れ、それを切り札に奴となんとか立ち回るんだ。
Or doesn't really look like someone that can be bargained with. Yeah. Unless they had a way to like melt down the key. Even if they break the key, somebody could just repair it. Like how are they gonna bargain with it? They could just kill them and take the key. But again, it's still better than just staying there.
奇跡の魔女を相手にあんたは奇跡を祈るわけ？
天文学的数字の中に1を、それが後ろ宮家の魔法ってやつだぜ。
A winner, eh? Ushiromiya family magic.
目がいいから教えてあげる。
Gamba.
あの黄金の鍵を取り囲んでる魔法陣、わかる？あれは簡単だけどなかなか堅牢な結界よ。触れば壊せる簡単な結界だけれど、でもね、どんな大魔女でも人間風情でも解くのにかっきり1時間をかけるというたちの悪い封印なのよ。
Okay, so they're gonna seal themselves in for an hour. Okay.
式典の進行上まだ1時間前にはなってない。つまり私たちは1時間稼がなきゃ鍵に触れることさえできないのよ。
Oh, wait, so... Wait, the seal's already... Oh, wait, the barrier's around the key, not the room. I don't know why I was thinking the room. What if Ava touched the barrier already? Maybe.
エヴァおばさんはきっと見張りの猫たちをやっつけた時魔法陣を壊してくれたに違いないわ。
さすがエヴァ様。
1時間はかからないはず。
見る限りまだ魔法陣は健在ね。残念ながらエヴァがそうしてくれたとしてもそれは1時間以内の話みたいよ。
1時間なんてちょろいもんだぜ。少なくともそれだけ粘れば手に入るという明白なゴールがある。
そうね、いいじゃない、1時間の鬼ごっこ。私こわもてに追いかけ回されるのには慣れてるの。
あんたたちふらつきのパー揃いね。ベルンとあの数の猫を相手に本気で鬼ごっこをさせてもらえると。
確率が 1% でもあるなら
俺たちが絶対にそれを掴み取ってやる。
Oh yeah, let's use that Ushrami family magic. Gamba. The difference in enthusiasm between the siblings, who had everything to lose, and Lambdadelta was immense. However, Lambdadelta was no coward. She was a great witch of the Senate. If she surrendered, she wouldn't be able to escape severe punishment, but she would be forgiven after a few hundred years. Why would she, after being thrown into a stormy sea while clutching a buoy that could only save her, decide to throw that buoy away? No living person could be determined, or as determined as those siblings, who were already fighting with their lives. No one could blame Lambda.
ああ、もう本当にバカだわ、あんたたちは。仕方ないわね。1% よりもうちょっと確率が高くなる作戦を教えてあげるわ。ズバリ何だと思う？
The two siblings looked at each other. However, they both thought that any plan would be worth listening to, even if it would only raise their chances by 0.00001%.
生贄よ。ベルンは猫だから逃げる獲物は追うけれど逃げない獲物は殺す。それもネチネチといたぶってね。
最悪ね。
But cats aren't people. Cats are cats.
しかしそれが本当ならかける価値はある。
生贄を一人じゃんけんで選びましょう。負けた子はベルンをたっぷり挑発して笑わせて殺されて1分1秒でも時間を稼ぐ。それでいいわね。
じゃんけんはいらない。俺がやる。エンジェとラムダは鍵の部屋へ行ってくれ。
Yeah, I thought it would be I thought it would be Battler.
ダメよお兄ちゃん、私がやるわ。元はといえばこれは私の責任。ベルンカステルの言葉に耳を貸し心を許した私の責任なのよ。だからあいつに一言くらい言ってやりたいのよ。
Both Battler and Ange decided to be the sacrifice and wouldn't listen to the other.
ね、じゃんけんじゃないと決まらないでしょ。さっさと決めないとこの作戦も使えなくなるわよ。もうじき連中がやってくるわ。
分かった。俺かエンジェが生贄をやる。 ラムダデルタは残った方を連れて鍵を奪ったら黄金鏡に連れ帰ってやってくれ。
譲らないわよお兄ちゃん。
ふざけやがって。たまには兄らしいことをさせやがれ。
時間ないわよ。じゃんけん一発勝負。私超パーだからそれにちなんで最初はパーからね。いい？二人とも。
いいわ。
エンジェ恨みっこなしだぜ。
せーの、最初はパー。
It really was a stupid kids' game of rock, paper, scissors. Since they'd promised to start with paper, this was a chance to make a surprise attack and use something else. However, both Battler and Ange chose rock, and yet it wasn't a tie. Because in addition to those two rocks, was one person who chose scissors. Bruh. After staring stupidly at their fists and those scissors, they looked at her.
じゃあ最初はパーだからチョキ出して一人勝ちしてやろうって思ったのに、やっぱりパーはパー出してなきゃダメね。
There had been no reason for Lambdadelta to join in on the game. This wasn't the time for a joke like that. Battler and Ange, each trying to lose, chose rock. Lambdadelta alone chose scissors.
あんたわざとチョキを。
お前に死なれたら俺たちは黄金鏡に帰れないだろうが。
He does have a point.
こんなの無効だ。
これで大丈夫でしょ。
When Lambdadelta made a clenched fist, a palely glowing fragment appeared there, and she gave it to the pair of them. Battler had seen one of these before. It was a magic fragment, like the one Erica had used before disappearing, which would allow one to cross the sea of fragments.
それがあれば二人とも黄金鏡に帰れるわ。それにこれが一番の人選なのよ。あんたたちじゃベルン相手に数秒と持たないだろうし。
True. True.
私なら1時間どころかひょっとしたら勝っちゃうかもね。あの子には借りがあるし、今度は私の勝ちってことにしてイーブンにしないと。アウェイは辛いわね。
Lambdadelta pretended to complain as she stood up straight.
じゃあ行ってくるわ。私目立ちたがり屋だからやっぱ感激者は無理だったわ。ごめんね、出番を奪っちゃって。あんたたちのゲーム最後まで感激できないのは残念だけど、もう筋書きは教えてもらえたから見る必要もないわ。
ラムダ。
Then, with her broadest smile and a wink,
あんたたちのハッピーエンド、もう先が読めちゃったから見なくても分かっちゃうわ。じゃあね、また会いましょうね。あんたたちのハッピーエンドのクレジットロールでね。待って。
Lambdadelta snapped her fingers, and the two of them turned into Conpeto candies. She picked them up, took aim at the glint of the golden key, and flicked them away. That way, they should be able to reach the key without Bernkastel noticing. Dang, what terrible luck. What were the odds of them both playing a rock against my scissors? Yeah, I know. It wasn't nice of me to test you like that. Sorry, you two. And then Lambdadelta's body was lit up by an emerald green light. When she turned around, the cat's eyes and Lambdadelta's met. Lambdadelta grinned and waved. There was a fierce roar and several bright flashes.
何事？
A chain of explosions flashed by, one after another, enveloping Burn Costa and her pack of familiars in an instant. They were multicolored fireworks, or rather, multicolored candy that burst with a flash and scattered everywhere. Countless stick candies, sugar sculptures, cookies, and tarts flew in every direction, and each one of those split and exploded into hundreds of candies, each of which exploded again into a cloud of confeito. However, these sweets weren't sweet. Confeito was heavier than lead, harder than steel, and sharper than any blade. As the colorful cloud exploded outward, it blasted the entire pack of cats into little bits. The emerald green glints were scattered everywhere and sparkled like the night sky, and among them danced a cloud of pretty candies that looked like they'd go well on a Christmas tree. It was sufficiently outrageous and beautiful and cute to mark the great Witch Lady Lambdadelta's appearance on the scene.
あら、ラムダじゃない。あなたとはパーティー会場で会いたかったの。
愛してるわベル。愛をささやくなら二人きりの方が素敵でしょ。
それはあんたの両手両足をもいだ後にゆっくりと聞かせてちょうだい。
With a jerk of her chin, Byrne ordered her familiars to attack.
私の愛しい愛しいたった一人の友人を両腕の肘から先両足の膝より先
Ever think they'd be about maybe unironically cheering for Lambda? No, I guess not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, to have her so firmly take our side in the end here. I was not expecting that.
自由に食いちぎって構わない。それ以外傷一つ許さないわよ。
The crowd of cats undulated again, reformed into a single mass, and became the emerald green leviathan that would swallow up any poor victims who snuck into the city of books. It was shaped like an impossibly vast whale. However, would it look like a whale from Lambda's perspective? He probably couldn't see anything except an immense mouth about to swallow up everything.
素敵。私をベルンの愛で飲み込んでくれるのね。
愛してるね、ラム。あんたの手足をもいだらお尻から鉄串で貫いて私のベッドに飾ってあげる。そして毎朝目覚めのキスを、そして毎夜お休みのキスをしてあげる。
Y'all are weird.
本当に素敵。じゃあ私もあなたを愛で包んであげる。
However, Lambdadelta's war cry was swallowed up by the glowing, writhing leviathan in a single bite.
ああ、素敵ラムダ。あんたのその向こう水で命知らずでほんのりパーなところが大好きだわ。風
At the same instant that Lambdadelta was swallowed and Bernkastel was sure of her victory, the latter felt a slight breeze playing with her hair. The countless sweets that Lambdadelta had sent flying like fireworks, and which drifted about like the decorations at a Christmas party, were flowing. No, they were converging on a single point. Way too dank. It was like watching a firework run backward. Countless sweets rapidly contracted around the vast, closed mouth of the Leviathan. A gigantic reverse explosion concentrated on a point inside it. Or perhaps it was more like countless candies showering the Leviathan from all directions like bullets. Inside that mass of green was a black swirl. That swirl was on a palm of Lambdadelta, who wore a defiant smile. It was a mass of supergravity. All of the sweets, the cats, the whale, and everything else was being sucked into that one point and crunched. She just summoned a black hole? Okay. Suck. All of the candies Lambdadelta had scattered were getting sucked back into the black hole on her palm at unbelievable speeds. The reverse explosion of the oncoming candy whittled away at the Leviathan, crushing it inwards. With all her strength, Bernkastel held her ground in midair, trying to resist this supergravity. For the first time, all trace of condensation had left her face. Or condescension. Condensation? Yeah, she wouldn't be condensing or condensating. But every time Lambdadelta's cocky expression was marred by the sweat trailing from her forehead. Or, yeah, even Lambdadelta's. Because their power was so overwhelming, any victory would have to be instantaneous. If either relaxed in the slightest, they would match each other's strengths, and yet dragged into another dizzyingly long fight that could last for centuries. Neither of them had any desire to go through that again. So neither of them showed the slightest mercy for their most beloved friend. By now, the Leviathan had been completely crushed and compressed inside the black hole. Bernkastel was the only one still holding her ground. However, a windstorm of candy asteroids like the asteroid belt repeatedly slammed into Bernkastel, wearing away at her girl's form bit by bit. The thing flying into Bernkastel's range of vision was a comet pelting straight for her, with a massive present box at its core and a cloud of candy surrounding it. Oh my goodness. The candy comet wiped out Bernkastel along with her scream. It burst into little bits, and within a blink of an eye, it was sucked back into a hole of supergravity. Once it was all gathered into one place like a gem, it began to spin rapidly. It was flattened by the centrifugal force, turning into something whose shape resembled a galaxy. After swallowing all of the cats and their master, it now looked like a wriggling, flickering emerald green galaxy that floated just above Lambdadelta's palm. The pocket of supergravity kept compressing it further and further, until, at the end, it had become a single green, shining Conpeto. Then it fell down onto her outstretched palm. The forbidden Conpeto.
ごめんね、ベル。あなたといつまでも遊んでいたいから、いつもは必死のふりしてほどほどで遊んでるけど。
Lambdadelta held the Conpeto above her head and peered at it.
私、本当はどうしようもなく強いのよ。ごめんね。
Stop raising flags! Then she pressed the Conpeto to her pink lip, gave it a light kiss, and bit down.
ベルの味がしない。
Oh boy. Lambdadelta licked her fingertips, then turned to face the empty air behind her.
知ってたわ、愛しいラムダ。
Oh boy.
ああ、愛してるわ、ベル。
嘘よ。あんたがいつだって私に本気じゃないって知ってたわ。
じゃあ本当に愛し合いましょうよ。お互い本気で。
ああ、愛してるわ、ラムダデルタ。嬉しいわ、本当に嬉しいわ。
愛してるわ、ベルンカステル。あなたを飴玉に変えて永遠に私の舌の上で可愛がってあげる。
どちらが勝っても私たちは愛し合えるのね。それって本当に素敵だわ。それって本当に素敵。
さあ愛し合いましょうよ。
This is so weird. With a crash, cracked lines appeared across the sky of the Golden Land. Okay, we're back here now. Then, finally, the barrier of the Golden Land was breached by the fleet's assault. It was a bizarre scene, more ridiculous than anything anyone had imagined. The sky of the Golden Land shattered like glass, and a fleet of sailboats flew in one after another. They were crowded with goats pushing each other and spilling off the sides. A banquet. It wasn't some fancy metaphor, but a simple statement of fact. The overwhelming surge of goat groups came in like a tsunami. The residents of the Golden Land who stood defiantly were like a forgotten sandcastle on a beach. A fight between a wave and a sandcastle is not a fight. This was a banquet for the oncoming Vikings at a stand-up meal. The voracious, merciless goats.
是非もなしぶち殺せ。
グッド。さあ ちあるものに破壊を、動くものに静寂を、生けるものに絶望を。
All those who could use magic fired it off at once. With a shout like a thunderclap, the goat tsunami rushed forward. Everything collided at once, and there was a brilliant and terrible explosion. Sparks and smoke, flying splinters and screams. For just an instant, the fierce magical cannonballs fired by Beato, Virgilia, and the Chister Sister Corps seemed to halt the goat tsunami in its track. However, their numbers were so great that they didn't even flinch. The goat wave continued to walk over the corpses that had been blasted away, or which had fallen to their knees in weariness. The mound of corpses piled up, and still more goats were shot down as they tried to cross it, so that in a few seconds, it really was tall enough to be a tsunami.
あなたが築き上げてきた黄金鏡など浜辺に子供が残した砂の城に過ぎない。飲み込まれて消えてしまえ。
ならばそなたは岸壁に打ち寄せる無力なさざ波を思うがいい。波に飲まれる砂の城、飲んでみろよ、わらわの城よ。
Beato lifted her hands, telling the pair of battle towers that had been hidden deep in the ground that the day of glory had come again. The goat tsunami looked up at it in shock. After all, this time the tsunami that towered over everything wasn't them. Man, I remember these towers. It's been a while. A thunderstorm of rapid-fire ballista rounds leapt from the battle tower gun ports. The goats let out a confused scream at the furious tempest that was bearing down on them. However, they saw something else too. Smothered mate. And then Virgilia's. In the sky high above the tower was a reaper astride a divine horse and backdropped by the moon. A massive spear the size of a tower in its hand. The great witch sitting on the horse by the reaper spoke.
お帰りなさい。ここはあなたたちの世界ではありません。行っちまえ、お師匠様！
The heavenly spear pierced the ground. For an instant, it looked like some divine tower was sticking out of the ground. However, that was the very last thing those eyes ever saw. Flashbang. The sacred spear was the embodiment of heaven's wrath, and the strength to bury an unclean city in a single stroke was unleashed upon the pack of goats. With a massive explosion that resembled a volcanic eruption, goats were sent flying all over the place.
やるわね。さすが魔女だわ。
でもどうかな。
敵はまだまだ来るわ。やっぱり飲み込まれるのは私たちなのよ。
にしちゃん、あんたたちは楽しそうだわ。
祭りは楽しまねば損ということだ。どうやら我らの出番がなくなるということはなさそうだぞ。みてえだな。燃えてきたぜ。
Yes, the crowd of goats truly was like a wave pressing in from the sea. You might be able to split a ripple on the beach with your feet, but you can't split the sea. Witches could. However, that meant the other side also had someone who could split seas. Suddenly, smoke poured from one of the two towers, and the ground shook as it crumbled. At the top of the other battle tower, Erica stood gracefully, wielding her scythe.
これで黄金鏡の魔女たちへの敬意には十分でしょう。魔法など全てまやかし、ミステリーに飲み込まれて必ず消えるファンタジーの砂の城。楽しかったですよ、魔法ごっこ。なんだか幼かった頃、近所のお姉ちゃんたちとこんな遊びをした気がします。だからもうこれでおしまいにしましょう。ここからはあんたたちが絶叫を聞かせてくれる番です。
Erica threw that pretentious pirate hat she'd been wearing this whole time into the sky. With the moon behind it, Erica's form, her afterimage, vanished from the tower's peak.
どこに？レーダー捕捉してます。あ、戦闘兵器メ。
Shaking with a wild, joyous laughter, Erica dashed straight down the tower. She swung her scythe like a baton, and as she passed along the tower's walls, its gun ports, walls, pillars, and everything else was crushed, leaving a trail of smoke. So from the sidelines, it looked as though a line of smoke suddenly split the tower from top to bottom. I gotta say, that looks pretty epic. The golden arrows of the Chester Sister Corps chased after Erica like golden threads in a sewing machine. What? I want to take a... Is there a better way to... Oh, wait. Alright, is there a better way to take a picture of this? I can probably find the CV somewhere. Oh, clear does it? Wait, what is clear? I don't know what the clear button is. Anyway, I'll find the CV later. It's just for my own satisfaction. Clear button. Do I don't know if I have a clear button. Oh, on the screen. Wait. Oh, clear. Oh. You know me, I'm blind. I can't see these things. Oh, there it is again. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll just take it down then. There we go. Thanks for letting me know that. Guto. Even the golden arrows couldn't catch up with Erica. Finally, Erica reached the bottom of the battle tower and empty cartridges were ejected from the golden bows. Huh? What phrase? First useless tower? Huh? Erica, who had now landed on the ground, slowly stood up and tapped the tower behind her with the handle of the scythe. That tiny tap at the final string that held the tower together, and the whole thing fell in on itself with an earth-shattering crash. Once again, the dark tsunami rumbled forward through the rubble and smoke.
我こそは真実の魔女フルドエリカなり。今こそ真実にて黄金鏡を解体する。土は土に、幻は幻に。終わらせてあげますよ、あんたたちのハクチューム。さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい、亡霊たち。本当はもうとっくに死んでるんだってことを。
The goat tsunami swallowed everything up. When she saw them sink under the black sea of goats, Erica guffawed from atop the debris of the tower.
さあ、殺せ殺せ、皆殺しになさい。全員の首を切り落として槍に突き刺して掲げなさい。怒号と真実の渦に飲み込まれて消え去ってください。1986年の亡霊たち、さようなら。
Oh, we're back at the City of Books. Hour and 30 minutes to finish the scene. Ava had broken the magic circle around the key beforehand, after all. By the time Battler and Ange reached it, it was falling apart like sand in an hourglass. You left it to do today? Yeah. They tried punching and kicking it to make it break faster, but nothing they did hastened the process.
だいぶ前に壊してくれたみたいだけど、それでもまだ時間をかけそうだわ。
多分あと少しなんだ。おそらくあと5分も稼げれば。
Judging by the speed the magic circles were crumbling, and the general appearance of the whole scene, it looked like it would be over soon. However, right now, even 5 minutes... could even 5 minutes be considered soon? They turned around. Beyond the bookshelf ravine was a universe. Even for Battler, who had seen Beato's fights many times over, the battle between Lambdadelta and Bernkastel was so mind-defying that he couldn't think of a single word to describe it. When he finally managed to find a word, was a universe. Each time a battle between Lambdadelta and Bernkastel unfolded, a universe was created between the pair of them. Well, it does take two to create a universe. Big bangs would take place, universes would be created, galaxies beyond number would be born and erased. Then, just when it seemed that a big crunch had occurred and that the universe had met its demise, there would be another big bang, and another universe would be created. It was like watching gods playing. The two witches created and destroyed worlds over and over again, almost as though two creators were fighting to prove that their universe alone was the right one. If you let your guard down in the slightest, then just watching this would steal your soul. That's how it felt. Ugh.
っておけない。
あの戦いの中に飛び込むっての？
だが放っておけねえだろ。二人の戦いは確かに常軌を逸してる。だが完全に拮抗してて互角なんだ。ってことはだ、俺みたいな人間風情一人の火星でも何かを崩せるかもしれない。
But are you sure it's going to break the way you want it to? A perfect balance maintained by two great powers can easily break by adding even a little strength to one side. However, actually rushing in there to add that little bit of strength would be literal suicide. Like a moth flying into a furnace. It might burn up before it even reaches it.
鍵を手に入れたらエンジェはすぐに黄金鏡へ飛んで帰れ。向こうもいつまで持ちこたえられるかわからない。
みんな戦ってるのに私一人だけ帰れない。
そうだ、これはお前の戦いなんだ。だからお前は戦え。みんなと一緒に死ねなかったことを悔やみながらその気持ちに打ち勝って未来に生きるんだ。それをお前は決意したはずだ。
Ange had no words to respond with. Her brother and everyone else would probably die. So she wanted to die in the same place and at the same time as everyone else. However, that could not be allowed. She mustn't wish for it. She had already made up her mind. She had sworn to live in the future, without turning back to look at everyone's deaths.
黄金鏡に帰ったらベアトに鍵を見せろ。するとベアトはお前の前に2つの扉を示す。そしてお前に簡単な謎かけをし、そのどちらかを開くように言う。それが俺のゲーム版の最後のゲームだ。
二つの扉。
2つのうち片方はお前を未来へ導く。大丈夫、今のお前なら絶対に間違いない。そしてそれをくぐったら扉が閉まるまで後ろを振り返るな。
どうして振り返っちゃいけないの？
扉が閉まれば俺たちの運命はもうお前には分からない。つまり俺たちは猫箱の中に閉ざされる。
猫箱に閉ざされた運命は無限の真実を持つ。
そういうことだ。俺たちはボロクソに負けたかもしれねえし、奇跡の大逆転で生き残るかもしれねえ。つまりお前という未来の魔女に俺たちの決着を観測させずに未来に送り出せれば俺たちには勝機があるってことだ。だがお前がいつまでも俺たちを見ていたらお前は俺たちが全滅するところを見ちまう。そうなりゃ 100% の敗北が確定だ。だからお前は俺たちに勝利の奇跡を与えるためにも扉をくぐったら決して振り返っちゃいけない。いいな。だから俺はラムダデルタを助けに行くのさ。その俺の勇姿を見送って黄金鏡に帰ればそれがお前の中での俺の最後の姿になる。
ちゃんたちの勝敗は猫箱に閉ざされる。だから絶対に負けない。
Sort of reminds me of, what is it? If you're crossing the river Styx, don't look back, or you'll be trapped in haze forever. I think that's the myth, how it goes. Anyway, reminds me of that.
そういうことだ。だから振り返るな。もうじき鍵が手に入る。一目散で黄金鏡に帰るんだ。だから今のうちに手短に未来のお前に俺からメッセージを送れ。いいか、忘れるなよ。よく心に刻んどけよ。いついかなる時もな、生きる希望を捨てるんじゃねえぜ。俺たちはいつだってみんな、お前が信じてさえくれりゃ声だってかけられるんだ。いいな、奇跡はな、信じれば絶対に叶うから。
At that moment, Lambdadelta and Bernkastel were wrapped in a massive explosion. Surely one of them had delivered a powerful blow. There were no further explosions, so that strike must have decided the match. When the smoke clears, who will be left standing? The magic circle sealing the key still needed several minutes to dissolve. Uh-oh.
まだいる？私の愛しいラムダデルタ。
All that came into sight was Bernkastel. There was no answering voice from Lambdadelta. If this was a sign of her victory, it did not cause Bernkastel's expression to grow any brighter.
残念よ、ラムダ。あなたとなら二人で宇宙が築けると思ってたのに。残念よ、本当に残念。
Bernkastel was still focusing all her nerves on the battle, though she took no notice of Battler and Ange by the key. However, he would probably notice soon, and then there would be nowhere to run. The last section of the magic circle was starting to fade away. However, almost cruelly, the final circle went slower than the rest. Seeing that, any hopes that it would dissolve in a minute, or maybe a few dozen seconds, were crushed absolutely. Battler readied himself.
俺じゃああはいかねえだろうがな。今度は俺の出番のようだぜ。
お兄ちゃん。
偉いぞ、エンジ。よく止めなかった。
With tears still pouring down her face, Ange lovingly rubbed her cheek against the hand that had been patting her head.
また子猫たちを集めなきゃ。バトラも一緒にいると思ってたのに、その姿がないのはおかしいわ。
Lambda ever have a chance on us, narrative-wise? Yeah. Everything's stacked against them.
あんなやつ一人でも残しておけば、靴に入り込んだ小石程度には厄介だものね。
The smoke cleared completely, and they saw a huge cloud of candy bits floating around, like it was Lambdadelta's corpse. A star-shaped cookie bounced off Bernkastel's head. It was missing one of its points, giving it a lonely feeling.
ラムダデルタ、私と共に生きなさい。私の中であなたは私と一つの宇宙になるの。
Bernkastel chewed the cookie and swallowed it.
これで私たちは永遠に一緒よ。愛してるわ、ラムダ。
私もよ、ベルン。
Oh snap. Bernkastel's stomach suddenly swelled like a balloon. The bulge rose from her stomach to her throat, then exploded like a firework from her mouth. From Bernkastel's mouth spewed fireworks, sparks, fragments of candy.
直せないの？猫の頃の習性は。怪しいお菓子を拾い食いしちゃダメでしょ。
Bernkastel doubled over even more, still spitting up an exploding firework. The birth of a small universe from that sweet had hit her directly from the inside of her stomach. Even Bernkastel couldn't withstand that. As Bernkastel repeatedly vomited fireworks so violently that it seemed like her guts would spill out, her body flickered in and out of existence, and she glared at Lambdadelta with a terrifying expression. Her body was flickering because she had taken so much damage that even maintaining her form was now difficult.
はしたないわ、ベルン。お姿が乱れていてよ。
ラムダ。
ちょっぴり負けてあげちゃおっかなって気分になってたの。でもやめたわ。あんたと一つの宇宙になっちゃったら、ベルンは二度と私に愛をささやいてくれないもの。
そうね、私釣った魚に餌はあげないたちだもの。
知ってるわ。だからベルンは美しく輝くのよ。思わせぶりな仕草を見せるのに決して誰にもこびることはない気高い猫の女王のように。
あんたを段ボールに変えて側面揃えて私の爪研ぎにしてあげるわ。
あんたこそ三味線にして一回弾いたら飽きて押し入れに入れて埃を積もらせてあげるわよ。
Meanwhile, back at the Golden Land, the goat tsunami had swallowed up everything, but sea spray was still flying about. The reefs resisted the ocean that was trying to cover them, and were smashing waves left and right. The Seven Sisters of Purgatory and the Inquisitors of Heresy specialized in close-range combat, and were rapidly building a mountain of corpses. The witches fought hard too, but they would have preferred to fight at a distance if they could. Illusions alone wouldn't be enough. In these battle conditions, all of the humans were thrust right into the center of the fight. Everyone in the Ushiromiya family displayed a fighting spirit equal to the witches and guarded their backs. Even humans are not powerless. They have guns. I cast gun. If the goats supported fantasy, they could use these as the ultimate anti-magic weapons. If the goats supported mystery, they could use these in a much more obvious way. Those 45 long Colt bullets delivered fatal wounds to each and every goat they struck.
死に損ないどもがいつまで抵抗しやがるんですか。いい加減その辺で沈みやがれです後ろ宮。
沈めと言われればあがきたくなるのが後ろ宮よ。小娘、お前に語れるほど後ろ宮甘くはないわ。
あんたなんざ1986年以前に死んでるでしょうが。はしゃぎすぎなんですよこのクソじじい。
Erica's razor-sharp scythe buried itself in Kinzo's chest. It dug straight into his heart, but the daring smile on Kinzo's face didn't even falter.
我が死を猫箱の外の誰が観測したというのかな。あれは不滅なり不滅なり。
A punch containing the entirety of Kinzo's last spark of life sent Erica flying.
お父さんしっかり。
Dang. The Chad Kinzo.
踏み越えてゆけ我が屍。後ろ宮家は振り返るな。
As Erica tried to deliver the finishing blow, Kraus stepped in between them, blocking the way.
親父殿に代わって私がお相手しよう。
おや無能投資家の大先生ではございませんか。よくもまあ儲からない話ばかりを見つけて散財なさるものです。
Oof.
失礼。靴紐が溶けてはいないか。
Omega lol. Erica tried to look down at her feet, but what she saw was Kraus's left fist. Kraus's left uppercut made Erica float in the air. Not by magic, but by the simple laws of physics. For an instant, Erica saw the move.
私は投資家としては無能だろう。だがボクサーとしての才能は大学時代の友人たちが証明するだろう。お前ごとき小娘に我が後ろ宮の全てを否定することなどこの後ろ宮クラウスが許さん。
Oh, 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. This is interesting. Yeah, canon is an illusion. Made by a lonely Jessica. wonder if that could be. Well, is it created by Jessica or Shannon? Well, no, because yeah, that wouldn't make sense. But he always disappears when Shannon dies. What about the other parts, though, where he interacted with the other guests? Huh. That'll be something to think about. That's true, he came to the school festival and whatnot. But I don't know. I don't know what to trust in games because the reader can obscure things. Jessica's body blow made the goat's massive body cave in.
このような窮地でよくそれだけの力を。そりゃそうだぜ。だって私今死んでもいいかなって思っちゃってる。カノン君に背中を預けて初めての共同作業だもんな。それがケーキカットじゃないのが残念だけどさ。
Oh. Oh my. Jessica laughed embarrassedly. She looked even more relaxed than she had on stage at the school festival.
なら、僕たちはケーキ以外のものを切断しましょう。いちいちカノン君が言うことはかっこつけすぎなんだよ。
The Chad canon. Everybody's being a Chad today. The massive bodies that rushed at them, trying to deny their relationship and their very existence, had two choices: be sliced or struck. Each time one of those bodies hit the floor, it became proof that the two of them existed. I don't think Shannon is an illusion. Love itself is an illusion. I don't know. Well, I mean, the goats are getting defeated, so does that mean it's not true? Yeah, Shannon. I mean, I don't think Shannon is an illusion, no. She interacts too much with everybody else. I still am a little confused about how, let's see. Leon and Shannon are supposed to be the same person. might have had a theory on that, but I forgot it.
ジョージ様、危ない。
Ah. The goat's log-sized fist buried itself in George's face. This was the middle of a massive, confused battle. There was no way to dodge an unexpected attack like that.
ネクラな引き込み。いいと。僕への評価はどのようなものでも甘んじていけ。
You messed with the wrong dude, buddy. George had indeed been hit with a fist right to the center of his face. However, he didn't bend over backward, not even an inch. The goat started to wonder what it was he had hit. Hadn't he punched a human made of flesh? It was as though he had slammed his fist into a steel wall, and it was his fist that was hurting. However, the goat was too scared to move his fist from George's face. After all, if he did, the expression on that face would probably be too terrifying. Yeah. George pressed his hand against that fist.
僕の学生時代の同期たちが証言する。確かに僕はネクラで社交的な人間じゃなかった。もう一つ、とても重要なことを証言する。
George was only grabbing the goat's massive fist in his tiny hand. However, that fist was being crushed as though it had a vice around it. Even though the other hand was tiny, the goat couldn't even move its fist.
後ろ宮ジョージは自分に対する一切のことで喧嘩をした試しはない。どのような挑発にも逃げ回る臆病な少年だった。誰もがそう証言するだろう。でも喧嘩を一度もしたことがないとは誰も証言しないだろう。
Okay. I accepted the fact that someone as pathetic as me would be bullied. Oh snap. Hold on, I need it. Dang. He angry.
そんな僕に味方してくれる人、あらゆる挑発と挑戦を断じて一度たりとも僕は許したことはない。
The goat's broken teeth flew through the air. George's furious feet split the heavens. Oh man, you're just making it worse for yourself there, bud. A goat's filthy finger touched Shannon's back. That finger exploded and boiled away.
私のジョージさんへの愛は純粋で高潔です。ジョージさんは私の記した手紙のすべてを保管なさっているでしょう。
Okay, so maybe these can give me an insight into the truth. So, what we've gotten so far is that Canon is real. George is antisocial and a coward, but he'll defend people, and basically, yeah, he was with Shannon. I guess. Well, I mean, it didn't necessarily say that, but a bit about defending people. Supposed to. But I mean, that should probably mean that Shannon is real. Yeah. Confirm that. And then Shannon's love for George is real.
それらをご覧いただければ証明できるでしょう。 A blazing red light charred the goat's entire body.
Shannon slowly turned around, her face full of rage and contempt.
愛を知らぬ哀れな観測者よ、お前にはミステリーは愚か、人の心を読む資格さえもありません。起きえなさい。
Okay, that was fire. An absolute barrier rose up around Shannon, burning up the goats around her with its flames.
そうだね、確かにマリアたちは死んでいるかもしれない。でもね、だからって誰にもマリアたちのことを批判することはできない。マリアとママの愛は誰にも否定できないんだもの。
Maria smiled, showing her teeth, and performed her job without even looking at her hands. Then she tossed the fully loaded rifle straight up into the air.
来なさいよ。
Rosa, who stood back to back with Maria, caught it without turning around. No, that wasn't all. Maria had passed the gun to her mother perfectly without even looking back. Rosa's head was pointed at the ground as she stroked the frigid trigger with her index finger.
私とマリアの愛を疑うやつは前へ出なさいよ。
The crowd of goats, cowed by Rosa's ferocity, didn't get any closer to her.
じゃあ私が否定してあげます。浮気症のあんたはいつだって男のところを遊び歩いてマリアを一人ぼっちにしてました。
マリアの日記にはそんなこと一言も書いてないもん。
Okay.
あんたが一番知っているでしょうが。ローザはあんたを愛してなんかいない。産んだことさえ後悔してるクソったれな母親じゃないですか。
Erica was peering at the unfeeling moon, the taste of metal in her mouth. For a moment, she didn't realize what was happening. Was that cold feeling on her back the ground? Huh? Why am I lying down? And wasn't the moon full? Why isn't it now? To think of it, my teeth hurt. There's something cold and hard there. Then she figured it out. She was lying sprawled on the ground, with a gun barrel shoved into her mouth. And the thing splitting the moon was the angry king of wolves protecting its child. Oh snap. The gun barrel exploded inside her mouth, shattering her medulla oblongata. But it was only her afterimage. Only her afterimage. Classic.
恐ろしい女です。こいつ本当に人間。
Erica, who had escaped death at the last moment by leaving an afterimage, found a metallic flash right before her eyes, which had been there even before she reappeared. The fountain pen went right through Erica's eye, crushing it. Of course, that was another afterimage. However, when Erica escaped and reappeared somewhere else, a heel was already there waiting for her. From the goat's perspective, several afterimages of Erica seemed to be appearing at once, all of which were pierced by Rosa at the same time. Bruh. And so Erica couldn't reappear anymore. At the very least, not within Rosa's range of attack. Erica put a lot of distance between her and Rosa, reappearing in midair. Erica's animal instincts made her turn her head slightly to the side just in time. Where her head used to be, there was an odd shower of sparks. It wasn't magic. It was a real physical phenomenon caused by lead smashing against lead. To think that two bullets shot from different angles could have flown with impossible precision at where her head once was, so that both of them hit and bounced off each other like billiard balls. The two of them spun their rifles in exactly the same way at exactly the same time, reloading them in a manner that put old westerns to shame, then pointed them back up at where Erica was in the sky. Once again, their accurate shots plunged through the forehead of Erica's afterimage, bouncing off each other like billiard balls with a shower of sparks. This time, Erica appeared far behind them. She had to admit it. She had been forced to escape to a place outside the range of those guns fired by humans. Then, the light from the moon was blocked. The place she had fled to so rapidly exploded, sending chunks of rubbish flying. A massive longsword had been plunged into the ground. It was Delanor's. She had dodged by a hair, but this bulky, brutal longsword was more of a cannonball shape like a sword than something for cutting with. Cannonball shaped like a sword. Even though she dodged it, the blast of air pressure made her eardrums throb. Delanor was serious. She seriously intended to smash Erica to bits. It's Erica, so yes. Delanor's hair bristled with rage. The sight of this expression on one of her old friends pinned Erica to the spot.
私があなたを解放しましょう。あなたがこれ以上の罪を背負わぬようにです。
The force of anger that welled from Delanor's whole body struck Erica. Or rather, the swirl of blasting wind from Delanor's massive longsword sent her flying. The cannonball with the blade repeatedly cracked the ground just after Erica leapt away. Though it almost looked as though Erica was jumping backward, smashing the earth beneath her with each jump. The great longsword split the air again, pulverizing the ground. However, this time, Erica was nowhere to be seen. Where did she escape to? Erica had broken the barrier of the Golden Land, landing on a ship whose bow was barely in sight. Practically speaking, she had run away. Fully aware of this, Erica howled, her face contorted with humiliation. Get wrecked, evil little girl, yeah. And to think there was a moment where I cheered for her. When she was saving Ange. But then again, that was probably all set up. Man, I never learn. Never learn. Her shoulders heaved with her breathing. She even forgot to fix her hair. The scythe fell from her hand and landed with a clank to the floor. That sound brought her back to her senses. The warships that had flown into the Golden Land opened their gun ports one after another, and then they all fired at once in a scattered mess of cannonballs. The hundreds of explosive rounds they fired would negate the concept of anything or any person they touched, smashing them into little bits and setting them ablaze with flames. The battlefield full of writhing goats became a fiery hell. A cannonball smashed the arbor. The once beautiful garden maze was burned down bit by bit, and the fleeing gold butterflies were wrapped in flames, burning into nothingness like little scraps of paper. This was no longer a battlefield where two sides fought for victory. It was just a confused, hellish pot of boiling water. The Golden Land was being torn apart. The once beautiful rose garden was filled with explosion craters, and its rose petals were scattered about without pity. There were flying bits of flesh, blood, fangs, jaws, shrieks, and half-crazed screams. And even amidst this hellish swirl, the goats and the dead continued to fight. As seen from atop the boats, this was hell, without a doubt. When Erica yelled, the goats on the boats ran around frantically. Boat on a boat. and one by one, massive anchors hanging by chains were thrown from the ship's bows down into the earth below. The anchors smashed through not only the ground, but the bottom of the Golden Land itself, digging in with their wedge-shaped tips.
おやベアトリーチェさん、何しろこの大混戦、あなたを見つけられず途方に暮れておりました。
Beatrice landed on the front tip of the warship, facing off against Erica, who stood on the bow.
貴様は許さぬ。この場でわらわが討ち取ってくれるわ。
Beato jabbed with her pipe. It transformed into a beautifully intricate golden longsword.
いいでしょう。望むところです。決着をつけましょう。
Erica threw her scythe up into the air. When it returned to her hand, it had become a sword similar to Beato's. The nearby goats crowded around Erica, trying to support her.
手出し無用です。それよりお前たちは怒りの巻き上げを黄金鏡を根元から引き裂いて粉々にしてしまいなさい。
Wait, didn't they just drop the anchors? What? Aye, aye, sir. The goats bowed and rushed to their posts. Several dozen ships had lowered their anchors, digging into the base of the Golden Land. Oh, okay. Soon they were going to try to pull them up, tearing the Golden Land to pieces. That's why they dropped them and then pulled them up. To wreck the land.
来いエリカ。貴様に我が最後の決闘の名誉くれてやる。
Beato raised her sword, bowed in the ancient fashion, and waited for her opponent. Erica kicked off her shoes violently and slowly walked up to the tip of the boat, barefoot. But why? Then, in accordance with Beato's rules, she bowed back. It was a duel on the prow of a ship that pierced the sky. Below, the crowd of goats was being blasted away by the indiscriminate cannonballs, burned up and crushed in the panorama of this world's end. By now, it would be stupid to wonder whether anyone from the Ushiromiya family was still alright. Yes, it truly was the end of this world. The end of the Golden Land. Ground to dust, filled with flames. The Golden Rose Garden was burning spectacularly, with bits of fire and golden splashes flying about. The ground creaked as fissures ran through it, through to the base of the Golden Land. All of the ships started pulling up their anchors at once. Crowds of mighty goats used all their monstrous strength to lift them. The anchors that dug into the Golden Land's base spread cracks throughout the entire Golden Land. Not just the ground, but the air itself was filled with cracks, and shards of gold fell down everywhere. The Golden Land's end was adorned with the flames of hell and streaking gold fragments, with fiery red and ephemeral gold. Or ephemeral. Ephemeral? Ephemeral? I don't know. Atop the boat's prow, Beato and Erica looked down on this, their swords crossed and sparks flying between them.
すごい光景じゃないですか。ふさわしいと思いませんか。あん
たの物語の終章に。黄金鏡は終わるだろう。わらわも果てるだろう。だが我らが確かにここにあった事実を誰にも消せぬ。レンジェは至った。未来の魔女は使命と希望を持ちもうじき旅立つだろう。すでに我らは成し遂げている。あいにくだな、クルドエリカ。この戦すでにわらわたちが勝利しているわ。
Wait, so did she already send Ange through the door? This was a duel between the master of the illusion called the Golden Land and the witch who controlled truth. The earth split behind them. The Golden Land was torn up. The cat box known as the Golden Land was ripped apart, and the nothingness below peeked out through the cracks. The scrambling crowd of goats fell through the gaps and were swallowed by the sea of nothingness. Ito's friends were among them. They helped each other, lent a hand to each other, unwilling to sacrifice anyone until the final moment. Still, what a romantic and fragile illusion is the end of the world. The ground shattered and sank. It fell apart into the ocean of nothingness. None could survive. None could be saved. This was destruction. As the comrades in arms fell into the sea of nothingness, they looked up one last time and prayed. They prayed that the master of the Golden Land would leave proof that the Golden Land had indeed existed. However, Ito didn't look down at them. They wouldn't have wanted her to.
こここそは無限と黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ、ここにあり。我らは知れど、それは敗北にあらず。そなたが生き証人となれ。その胸にわらわの切っ先にて我らの証刻みつけてくれようぞ。さようならベアトリーチェ。このクソったれな無限ゲームもこれでおしまいです。地獄へ落ちろこの幻が。
Oh? Okay, we're back in the City of Books. Lambdadelta and Bernkastel's fight to the death had passed through its phase as a dynamic clash of fireworks, and was now a clash that was quiet and motionless. These two witches, who possessed power on an entirely different level, may have been truly equal in strength. The battle could only be resolved by mutual consent, if one of them lost interest or found some reason for wanting to lose. Since both were putting their all into the fight without yielding a bit, they were absolutely and completely equal.
Lambdadelta、あんたが味方でよかったわ。
くそ、もう少しなんだ。早く砂になっちまえ。ふざけた魔法人め。
Battler got irritated and punched the magic circle, but there was nothing he could do except continue to watch over it. After all, the only way to dissolve it was by waiting. However, the pair of them still felt relief, if only a little. Lambdadelta really was strong. Even in a battle this spectacular, he fought on even footing. No, if you considered how confident each side looked, he seemed to have a slight advantage in Battler's eyes. He would probably manage to buy them enough time. Ange would take the key and return to the Golden Land. He just had to endure a bit longer. Battler, why are you raising these flags? However, they had no way of knowing what Lambdadelta's fate would be after this. She had disobeyed the Senate, the highest level witches in existence. Something brutal probably awaited her. However, even knowing this, Ange had to step forward into the future without looking back. That was the single duty given to her, the witch of the future.
お兄ちゃん、あれは何？遥か向こうから何か近づいてくるわ。
Uh-oh.
まずいぞ。まさか敵の増援か。
Lambdadelta and Bernkastel were glaring at each other, though they didn't notice. Heading toward them from the distance were several emerald green glints. That light proved they were enemies.
でもほんの数匹だけだわ。あの程度ならラムダデルタの敵じゃない。
All of the cats so far seemed like fish in a school, giving the impression that they'd be terrifying as a group, but not much of a problem by themselves. However, there was something different about the lights approaching them now. They were approaching in a beautiful, ordered formation, like a constellation. Battler quickly realized that this was something new.
我が巫女よ。そろそろ鍵の準備が必要な時間ではなかったか？
Uh-oh. Just by her tone, Battler was able to tell how great a witch this was. The black cats that surrounded her in a graceful and systematic constellation were all wearing large capes with elegant designs. It looked as though great overlords from many worlds had been transformed into cats, leaving only their capes untouched. What Battler imagined was quite true. That was exactly what had happened. These were the overlords from many worlds that formed Featherine's personal guard. Their bodies took the form of cats merely as a sign of respect to their master, who took the form of a human. These were entirely different from the pack of wild cats that served Bernkastel.
アウアウローラ。あら、もうそんな時間だったの？客を多少待たすのもまたパーティーのもてなし方の一つではある。私はあまり好まぬのだがな。
As she said this, her eyes flicked to Lambdadelta. The latter bowed hurriedly. Though Lambdadelta grinned, he was also sweating, her brow furrowed with tension.
久しぶりであるな、ラムダデルタ卿。
ご機嫌うるわしゅう、大アウローラ卿。
ここは今日をもてなすにふさわしい場所ではない。会場への道を間違えられたか？ならば私が自らパーティー会場にご案内しよう。
それは光栄ですわ、大アウローラ卿。
Featherine Augustus Aurora, the legendary Great Witch. It is said that she surpassed the level of witches, becoming a creator, and that upon reaching this forbidden plane, she was cursed with a deadly ailment. However, in life, she once turned her pet cat into a witch. They say that this second witch wanders the Sea of Fragments endlessly, searching for any fragment that can revive her master from the pits of death called boredom, if only for a moment. And so the cat revived her master, revived the sacred witch who had reached heights none should reach. Just as witches look down at and mock humans from a higher world, calling them pieces on a game board, so she looks down at and mocks the realm of witches from an even higher world, calling them pieces on a game board. If a witch's strength is measured by the height of the world they are capable of reaching, then she was like a witch come back from the realm of the gods, one who had touched the highest forbidden heights and survived. Was there any chance of winning against her? No. Lambdadelta was unable to choose either victory or defeat by her own will.
我が巫女よ、友人と戯れるのは後にして、今は仕事をしてくれぬか。鍵の準備をせよ。
What's her goal? I mean, she let Ange get to the key. Doing this now.
わかったわ。
To make it more interesting?
途中でお使いを忘れてしまう天真爛漫さも猫の魅力である。そうは思わぬか、ラムダデルタ卿。
Lambdadelta didn't say anything, but hung her head low. From this position, it seemed that the key's seal would dissolve at any second. However, Bernkastel would probably find Battler and Ange before that. Once they got their hands on the key, they could leave this place immediately. Of course, this was assuming that they did so before Bernkastel and Featherine found them. Bernkastel mustn't be allowed to move from this spot.
ゲームセットね、ラムダ。私は大アウローラ教の巫女よ。感激の魔女は朗読の巫女に保護を与えることを忘れてはいないわよね。
Lambdadelta still stood slumped over, without answering. The Witch of Theater-Going gave protection to her reader Miko's. If Lambdadelta attacked Bernkastel, who is Aurora's Miko, then the Great Witch Aurora would follow her contract, prevent what she considered an attack against herself, and respond accordingly.
取引しましょう。
何をよ。
バトラはどこに隠れてるの？素直に白状したら全て水に流してあげるわ。
奇跡の魔女のあんたがバトラごとき小さな駒を恐れるの？
奇跡の魔女だからこそよ。あんな小石のようなやつでも起こす奇跡があることを私は侮らないの。
その小石が今じゃ奇跡の魔女に大出世したものね。
もう一度聞くわ。バトラはどこ？ 残念よラムダ。それが返事のようね。ラムダ、あんたは本当にバカだわ。
Oh yeah, I had myself muted.
ラムダデルタ。
Dang. Yeah, she's a moron, but she's a good moron.
やっちゃったわ。バトラー、エンジェル、あとは頑張りなさいよ。
The cat overlords changed their formation, becoming a ferocious constellation that surrounded Featherine. Then, each drew the most terrifying of magic circles from their respective worlds, and began to chant.
私は少し混乱している。我が巫女よ、そしてラムダデルタ教よ。これはどういう余興なのか。ラムダは私が鍵を取りに行くのを邪魔したいみたいよ。
Well, Featherine knows what's going on. He's just playing dumb. Well, not dumb necessarily, but she's playing unaware. Why? Why even come here? I mean, Lambdadelta was holding off Burn Castle just fine, it seemed. So, if she wants to help, it doesn't seem like... Yeah, it doesn't seem like he wants to stop them necessarily. Almost like she wants to help them somehow, but why?
ほう、それはどういう意味なのか。
その意味がわかんないなら、フェザリーヌ、あんたちょっと酔っ払ってるんじゃない？酔いざましが必要なんじゃないかしら。
Lambdadelta bluffed as well as she could. Her fingertips were shaking slightly.
巫女への攻撃は主への攻撃とみなす。そなたも知らぬわけではあるまい。
知ってるわ。そのルールによると、私はあんたたちとやっぱり戦わなくちゃならないわけだわ。
ほう、私の巫女がそなたの巫女に失礼をしたか。ならば詫びよう。しかし教えてはくれんか。今はそなたは巫女を持たぬはず。そなたにはいつの間に巫女がいたというのか。
Wait, what? Lambdadelta has a Miko? I didn't think anybody else really had a Miko, unless that's just referring to, like, somebody they back.
それがね、いっぱいいるのよ。
Ton of Mikos, what?
30人か40 40人くらい、もっといるかしら。このラムダデルタ、相手が誰だろうとミコに売られた喧嘩は全部買い取っちゃうんだからね。そいつらはみんな絶対のハッピーエンドを信じてる。この絶対の魔女がそんな絶対を信じて頑張ってる連中をね、見捨てられるわけがないでしょ。
Aww. I mean, is it referring to all the Ushromias and the illusions and everything? The only thing I can think of that makes sense.
そなたの物語も嫌いではない。我が感激に値する。しかし今の私は感激者でなく出演者である。我が巫女の親友であることを知るから一度だけ忠告する。この舞台を降りるがよい。我が観覧席にそなたのための特別な席を設けさせよ
う。あんたの物語と私が感激してる物語のどちらが面白いか考えているわ。
答えを聞こうぞ。
バトラたちの物語の方が100倍面白いわ。悪いけど今年の助演女優賞は私がもらっとくわ。あんたたち最後の人気投票は私に入れなさいよ。最低でもトップ5よ。いいわね。
Fourth wall in tatters.
どこ見て言ってんのよ。
As Lambdadelta pretended to joke around, she calmly focused on the one weak point she could see. She had a chance for a single attack, and a 1 in a billion shot at victory existed. It was that horseshoe-shaped memory device floating around Featherine's head. Without that, she couldn't preserve her own existence. Destroying it was impossible. But if Lambdadelta could just jar it enough, he might be able to make it bug out. Make it bug out. Okay. I'm sure this would definitely work. Fun fact, well before this episode, Lambda was in position 13. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I guess it was like, well, this was the only part where she really was good. Yeah, maybe. Afterwards, she actually got position 3 on the wiki. Nice. Pretty neat. At least once in the past, Featherine's memory device had been damaged, and her personality and appearance had changed. However, she was aware of that herself, and probably wouldn't let that happen again, no matter what. Huh. I wonder what the memory device is all about. It's like... Memory device... The only thing I could think to equate it with is, like, laptop. I don't know.
よかろう、ラムダデルタ級。そなたの脚本が準備できたならいつでも参られるがよい。
脚本なんて簡単よ。たった1行。華麗でキュートなラムダデルタ様が悪の黒幕アウアウローラを一撃でぶっ倒す。
10 out of 10. Story of the year. Nothing can come close.
愚かなラムダ。そこまであなたが愚かとは思わなかったわ。猫たちは手出し無用。ラムダデルタ教より献上されるこの勇敢なる物語に対し、私自らが褒美を取らせよう。勇敢なるそなたにふさわしい物語と結末を褒美に取らせる。
エザリーヌ・アウグストゥス、アウアウローラ
Lambdadelta summoned magical power from her whole body and raised it in a mass above her head.
すまぬ。
The world. Then the world's time stopped.
そなたの脚本は採用しない。なぜなら
Rather than time stopping, it was more like the flipping pages of a book had stopped. In this motionless world, closely packed letters appeared.
この先の脚本を記すのは私であるからだ。
It was a tale that had been written up to this very moment. Featherine Augustus Aurora! Lambdadelta summoned magical power from her whole body and raised it in a mass above her head. That was where the paragraph ended. In this frozen world, Featherine sat with her arms crossed.
参ったものだ。戦いを書くのは久しぶりでな。唐突にこのような展開で筆を預けられても困るというもの。
When I get stuck writing, I try to write in reverse. In other words, instead of starting at the beginning, I start at the end and go backward from there. That way, it's easier to set up foreshadowing, and I can write the story with my vision for the end in mind. That is an interesting way to do that. The only downside is that I have to suddenly start at the climax without setting up the story first.
とりあえず戦いの顛末から遡って書いていこう。ラムダデルタ教、そなたは私に敗れ息絶える。
As Featherine said this, words were added to the massive group of letters that filled this frozen world. However, she was starting from the end. There was a large gap between the new words and the old one.
どんな姿でそなたは敗れるのであろうな。そなたの勇敢さにふさわしい勇壮な最後が良いだろう。こうはどうか。よくわからぬが何かに吹き飛ばされて本棚に叩きつけられ、獅子がバラバラに砕け散り、息絶えて暗闇に墜落して消える。
Just blasted away by something. Slams into a bookshelf, limbs are snapped off, he dies, disappears into the darkness below. RIP.
なかなか派手な最後であるな。よし、これでとりあえずそなたの最後は決まった。
What is she blasted away by? She's blasted away by something. The blanks in the outline Featherine spoke of were being filled up. At the same time, Lambdadelta's figure was wiped out. After crossing her arms and thinking again, Featherine pointed in a random direction. Lambdadelta appeared, blasted away by something, and slammed spread eagled against the bookshelf Featherine had pointed at.
さて、ここからこのような最後に至るまでの激しい戦いを執筆せねばならぬのだが、今の私は今日も見抜く通り少々酔いが回っている。その部分は今度改めて時間を設けてじっくりと執筆することにする。 これにて許せ。きっとそなたに気に入ってもらえる勇敢な戦いぶりを執筆することを約束しようぞ。
Featherine snapped her fingers. Lambdadelta had no idea what was going on. Before she could even blink, she was suddenly here, being slammed against a bookshelf.
何よこれ。
She couldn't comprehend the something that Featherine had killed her with. However, that was only natural. After all, Featherine herself hadn't decided what the something was. However, Lambdadelta did understand one thing. He was already dead. Omae wa mou shinderu. Streams of blood dripped from the corners of her mouth. Then, lines of blood appeared on her wrists and ankles, her elbows and knees. She looked like a marionette doll of herself.
私何に殺されたの。
まったくだ、ラムダデルタ卿。良いアイデアがあったら聞かせてほしいぞ。
Hey, have any ideas what I should put as what killed you? Yeah.
この化け物。
Still pinned against the bookshelf, Lambdadelta let her head slump. Her wrists, ankles, legs, arms, and neck each split into a separate part, and the marionette shaped like her lost strings, falling in pieces into the depths below. Nothing remained. It was all swallowed up by the darkness beneath them.
化け物とは私を称える褒め言葉の一つであるな。
ラムダデルタ。
エンジ見るな。お前は見るな。
Shedding frustrated tears, Ange closed her eyes tight. You must not look. The Witch of the Future must not accept Lambdadelta's defeat.
あいつはくたばってなんかいない。ただ勇敢だった。
分かってるわ。あのラムダデルタが負けるはずない。
At that moment, there was a slight sound, and the golden key that hung in the air shook. The seal had finally been broken. Battler grabbed at it immediately. However, at the exact same moment, a magical tremor spread throughout the vast key room. That tremor seemed to have shaken something inside my pocket. I stuck my hand in and found that the fragment Lambdadelta had given us to return to the Golden Land, had shattered. Uh-oh.
くそ、ラムダにもらったかけらが。
惜しかったわね。もう逃げ場はないわよ。
ベルカステル。
ラムダがもう少し賢く立ち回っていたら、もう5秒は稼げていたかもね。そうしたらあんたたちはその鍵を手に黄金鏡に逃げ帰れていた。ラムダは主がバカだとミコも苦労するわね。 ほう。
Catherine quietly showed her surprise. To truly surprise her was no easy task. Oh, dang! Okay. The Witch of Miracles, who boasted that no one could even step on her shadow unless she wished it, fell. After taking Battler's right fist to her face, she fell. Hey there, Patchface Beats. Hype indeed. Bernkastel's body immediately split into dust and reconstructed itself in front of Battler, as though nothing had happened. However, she was holding her cheek. She couldn't undo the fact that she had been hit. For the first time in 100 years, she had let someone tread on her shadow without her consent. Her face was gradually filled with shock, and Battler's couldn't be seen. His outstretched right arm was blocking it, though his expression couldn't be seen. Nani? She didn't let the next strike hit her. Bernkastel vanished like mist, then it reappeared a short distance away. However, Battler only missed by a hair's breadth. Not because she had intentionally made that happen, but for real. Finally, she truly began to feel the pain of being punched in the face. For too many years, she had forgotten the very concept of pain. Very slowly, it was coming back to her. Bernkastel writhed in anguish, holding her cheek. That feeling, forgotten for centuries, seemed to be hitting home hard. Battler looked at her. Their eyes met. Once again, Bernkastel remembered the emotion she had forgotten for hundreds of years. Last end conductor? Okay. Some good jams today. And then she shuddered. What Battler saw before his eyes was Bernkastel shuddering for the first time in centuries. Yeah, last end conductor, one word. To Bernkastel's eyes, it hadn't even looked like Battler rushing at her. Yeah, it hadn't even looked like Battler rushing at her and punching. It was as though she had been sucked toward where he stood with his furious fist raised. When her eyes had opened wide in terror, Battler's massive fist had been all that she could see. Of course, he wasn't capable of hitting her. Bernkastel was just like a shadow. She dodged by moving instantly and leaving an afterimage, but mere teleportation wasn't enough to escape from Battler's furious pursuit. True, trying to hit Bern was like enviously trying to hit the reflection of the moon on the water with a stone. No matter how often you hit it, you can never smash the moon's reflection. However, Battler hit it, and again, over and over, to prevent the moon from showing on the water's surface again. A fiercely thrown pebble sent ripples across the water's surface. It broke through the moon's reflection, broke through the water's surface itself, leaving even the bottom of the pond bare, breaking through everything. His certain willpower broke through to a miracle. A backward kick that Battler shot out without even looking behind him split through empty space. In that space, Bernkastel reappeared with a foot in her gut. The Witch of Miracles fell. For the second time, she fell. Once it would have been a miracle. Things that happen more than once aren't miracles anymore. Bernkastel understood. Battler was capable of hitting her. Then she fell, was slammed against the floor, got up on her hands and knees, and vomited. She threw up violently over and over. Her face was covered with pain and vomit and snot and tears. Then she looked up at Battler with a furious expression and howled. And she wasn't howling at Battler. Get wrecked, Omega Wolf.
すまぬが、私はラムダデルタ教の最後を記すので忙しい。私は手を貸せぬのでな。お前たちが少し助けてやるとよい。
Tech W. Heatherine's guard, the cat overlords, now formed a different constellation. Then each drew a magic circle and began chanting.
この猫たちね、それぞれがみんなあんたのようなゲームの主人公の慣れの果て。どいつもこいつもそれぞれの勇壮な物語で主人公を務め、その勇敢なる物語に名誉を授けられ、アウローラの警護を許された。それぞれがね、国やら星やら宇宙やらの存亡をかけて戦ってきたのよ。あんたはせいぜい妹やら妄想の魔女やらとのゲームごっこがせいぜいじゃない。主人公の格が違うのよ。食らってくたばりなさい。ぶち込んでやれ、ゲロカス殿。
There are many spectacular magic spells depicted at the beginning of a universe, the creation of planets, their destruction, and the universe's end, all in an instant. After that, not a speck of dust should have remained. However, when the smoke cleared, there was a person standing there. It stood there with its hands in its pockets, and its head hanging quietly. Its face was in shadows and couldn't be seen. Battler seemed to be completely uninjured. Not only were his clothes not burnt, but his hair hadn't even been disturbed. The cat overlords silently shook their heads, sending a short report to their master.
彼らの物語は誰にも邪魔できんらしい。すまぬな我が巫女よ。どうやら猫たちにもお手上げのようだ。何が各界の魔王たちよ。あんたたちだってかつてはどこかのゲーム版の主人公だったんでしょ。それがこのざま。恥を知りなさいよ。
The cats knew. From the very beginning, they had known that they wouldn't be able to do anything with him as the main character of this game board.
我が巫女よ。ゲーム版にて物語を紡ぐのはゲームマスターのみに許された特権である。それを主張された以上、私も物書きの端くれとしてそれを尊重せぬわけにはいかぬ。私は感激の立場に戻ろうぞ。役立たず主。バトラル、我が巫女がそなたの仲間を愚弄したことを謝ろう。そしてそなたのゲームを紡ぐ権利がゲームマスターであるそなたにあることも理解した。そなたの物語はそなたが紡ぐ。それもよかろう。だが我が巫女も今はそなたのゲームのゲームマスターでな。二人が同時にゲーム版を広げたらしい。一つのゲームに二人のマスターとはめったにないことだが、私はこの奇跡を喜んでいる。なぜならそなたたちの最後のゲームにふさわしいものになると確信したからだ。
立てベルンカステル。
なるほどね。ゲームマスター同士が戦うのはそのゲームに乗っ取るべきだって言いたいのね。最初からそうだと言えばいいのに。
Bernkastel slowly got to her feet and made her body melt away like mist. Then she appeared in the air once again, facing Battler.
いいわ。あんたのゲーム版のルールで戦ってあげる。だって私はあんたたちほど悠長じゃないから。そして圧倒的に出題して瞬時に終わらせてしまうわよ。私のお相手は誰？二人がかりでも一向に構わないわよ。お兄ちゃん、私も戦うわ。
来るな。
どうして？
お前はそこで、そして今度こそ俺が伝えたかったことを理解しろ。
兄ちゃん。それでいい？アウローラ。私が立ち会い人となろうぞ。我が巫女を打ち破れたならそなたらを黄金鏡へ送り返すことを約束しよう。黄金鏡がまだ残っていればの話だけれどね。
俺はみんなを信じてる。
そうよ。ベアトやみんなが負けるはずがない。なら強砲は早い方がいいわね。
Uh-oh.
エリカ、報告を許すわ。
Uh-oh.
いらっしゃい。
When Bernkastel snapped her fingers, Erica appeared with a bow.
お取り込み中失礼いたします、我が主。悪かったわね、エリカ。 あなたがせっかく朗報を持ち帰ってきてくれたのに待たせてしまって。
お喜びください、我が主。黄金鏡が消滅しましたことをご報告申し上げます。嘘だわ。黄金鏡は完全に崩壊、瓦解し、その全てが虚無の海に沈んだことをご報告申し上げます。人間は愚か、幻想の住人に至るまでその全ては消滅いたしました。嘘よ、私は信じない。なら信じさせてご覧に入れましょう。我が主、これを。
Erica humbly presented an object wrapped in cloth. It shone with a golden light.
何かしら？黄金のリンゴかしら？
黄金鏡の主、ベアトリーチェの心臓にございます。ベアト。
Bernkastel pinched it between two fingers, held it aloft, and gazed at it.
こんな様になってもまだ動いているのね。かわいいわ、ベアトリーチェ。あんたというゲーム版を再び誰かが広げてくれるかもしれない。まだそう信じているのよね。
大丈夫よ、お兄ちゃん。私たちはベアトが討ち取られるところを見てない。あれはエリカたちの策略だわ。私たちの士気をくじこうという策略よ。あるいはベアトの策略だわ。やられたふりをして姿を変えているのよ。ベアトリーチェが、みんなが、黄金鏡が滅ぼされるわけなんてない。
Oh boy. Ange got her own personal copium truck.
そうよね。未来の魔女がそう信じればそういうことにもできるのかもしれないわね。だから見せてあげるわ。よく見ていなさい。1998年の未来の魔女。
Oh, Ange, don't look! Close your eyes! Bernkastel threw the golden heart into the air like an apple. Then, with the blood-red blade of the scythe that appeared in her hand, he split it.
Beatrice は1986年10月に死亡した。よって彼女が生み出した黄金鏡は完全に滅び去った。黄金鏡に生かされていたお前の親族たちも全員滅び去った。お前の父も母も、そしてもちろんバトラも二度とお前のところに戻り、お前の名を呼ぶことはない。
Oof.
未来の魔女には解釈を好きに変えて上書きをする力があるわ。でも一つだけどうあがいても書き換えられない事実がある。それが死よ。肉体的あるいは精神的なあらゆる概念の死をあんたは覆せない。過去の魔女が未来の魔女に食らわせることのできる唯一の真実の刃よ。
こらえろ、エンジン。 前は受け入れるって決めたろ。誰も帰ってこなくても生きるとお前は決めたろ。
分かってるけど分かってるけど。
Even so, a tiny sliver of hope had remained inside Ange's heart. Despite everything, if she was favored by some miracle, maybe someone would come home after all. Doesn't matter when. It could be 10 years later or 50 years later. Doesn't even matter if they've forgotten my face. I believed that someone might come back someday. I decided to live with that tiny hope in my heart. Even though I accepted everyone's death, even though I saw it in the book of the single truth, I still thought that it wouldn't be so bad to believe in a miracle. A little. A miracle you believe in, even though you know it won't happen, is hope. For the witch who knew that that miracles don't occur had ruthlessly torn that hope away.
泣くな。
分かってる。でもあんたが今泣き言をささやくその兄もすでに死んでいるわ。お兄ちゃんは死んでない。ここにいる。ここにいるもん。
泣くな、エンジ。泣くな。
At Battler's shout, Ange bit back her tears.
だからなんだ。未来に生きるお前に過去の俺たちが何の意味がある。エンジェ、お前は何の魔女だ。俺たちの生死なんかお前には全く関係がないだろう。
そんなことない。生きててほしい。
違う。生き死にをお前は超えられるだろう。
Ange didn't understand what he was telling her. Though stunned into silence, she frantically considered what her brother might be trying to say. Battler slowly lifted his face and stared at Bernkastel.
そしてお前は魔女じゃない死神だ。
そうね。私はあらゆる奇跡と希望を刈り取る鎌を持つ。ならばきっとそうに違いないわ。
エンジェから生きる希望を奪い取り死へいざなう死神だ。
You're the one who threw about truths of the past, stealing the future from Ange's eyes and forcing her to look only at the past. And you're the one who thrust the hope-crushing single truth in front of her, gently pushing her from behind as she, of her own accord, took that step from the skyscraper's roof off into the world of nothingness.
今こそお前という呪縛からエンジを解き放つ。エンジはもう過去の呪いにとらわれない。未来に踏み出す。だがそこはお前が誘おうとする奈落の虚空にじゃない。エンジが力強く生きる1998年より先の未来なんだ。
人間は過去を見ながら後ろ向きに未来へ歩む哀れな生き物。だから簡単な落とし穴に気づかず真っ逆さまに無残に滑稽に転落する。
来いよベルンカッサル。 過去の魔女のお前に未来の輝きは遮れない。
Definitely don't have enough content for another stream. I do want to end soon though, even though I started late. I gotta try and get try to get to bed earlier. 2 hours or whatever. Yeah, I don't want to go that long tonight. I mean, are we getting to a stopping point soon here? Or like, well, like a break point? No? Okay. Maybe I should stop here then. Yeah, then next week we won't be able to finish it, but... Or, I mean, we will finish it, but, I'll just have to do something else after that. Let's see. Maybe I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll do like a little Ask Libra or something, because next week... Yeah, next week, Tuesday and probably Thursday, I'll be doing the Remnant 2 DLC. I don't know, we'll have to see where we leave off on Thursday. Yeah, I'll have to do a hybrid stream next week. Yeah, I gotta try to get myself to bed earlier today. I don't want to go too long overtime. I feel like I'm gonna be disappointed next week. Oh boy. What, just because, like, where it leaves off? Yeah, we'll have to, like, watch the last 2 smaller episodes on Discord as a watch party or something. And I guess those are gonna be, like, well, yeah, those are gonna be the ones that explain everything. Look at that. There's the Jeopardy music when you need it. Do you think there's definitely a better place to stop soon? Or maybe not? Well, if you're not sure, then I think I'll just stop here for today. Yeah. This is already a pretty bad place. I mean, it sounds like they're about to, I don't know, start their fight in earnest or whatever. It's like, come, Burn Castle. Fight me. We're getting ready to go into the fight? I don't know. Anyway, we'll finish this up next week. And, yeah, then we'll have to plan a watch party for the rest of it. Or, well, for the stuff that I can't get myself. Sorry for the shorter stream today. You can only in Japanese, yeah. I can't read that then. And for not PC, yeah, we'll probably have to watch somebody else. But alright, what was I saying? I don't know. Anyway, that's gonna be it for today. We'll pick up tomorrow with some more Ask Libra. Like I said, I did my grinding, and I'm right before the True Demon King. We can start with that right away, and then maybe do a little like arena. Well, there's only like the one arena thing, so I can probably do that. Oh, by the way, when I was, I'll just leave that for tomorrow. Just talking about Ask Libra. Okay. By the way, Jabaited. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for being here. Yep. Thanks everybody for being here. If anybody's interested in social media, there's links for Discord, Twitter, and YouTube in the chat. You can always find those links under the channel in the About section, or under that in the socials banner, or under the socials banner. You had a good night's sleep? Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bed right away, but I tend to like be up a little after I stream and whatnot, but I can't leave myself up too late. And the longer I stream, the longer I'll stay up after that. Anyway. Yeah, so in the meantime, thanks for being here. Hope you have a great day, night, whatever, wherever you are. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.